Now, Nigeria has been grappling with twin economic challenges, high inflation and unemployment. These interconnected issues threaten the country's stability, undermine economic growth, and imperil the well-being of its citizens. Nigeria's inflation rate has persistently exceeded the central bank's 6 to 9% target range, hovering around 20% in recent years. This upward trend is driven by monetary policy, food prices, import dependence, currency fluctuations, among others. Nigeria's unemployment rate has surged, reaching 33.3% in 2022, with youth unemployment at an alarming 42.5%. Now let's turn to Jennifer Awirigwe, founder of the FinTribe, to discuss the economic situation Nigeria is faced with and recommend possible way of ameliorating it. Thank you for joining us. Good to have you on Arise News.
Thank you, Amobulande. I hope you're going to have an interesting conversation.
Indeed. Well, let's start with the prevailing issues. We know that Nigerians are facing tough times as we speak. Top on the list is the increase in fuel price. We know there's a hike in inflation. The inflation rate is going higher and higher. And also there's the issue of unemployment. How do you think Nigerians are reacting to all of this?
It's sad. Anyone should be. People are mad. Right? Because the income is not growing, but the expenses is growing. I think recently the fuel is now above 1,000 naira.
Yes, over 1,000 naira.
But not long ago, this same fuel price was less than 500, and you're even shouting. Now, if your income is, let's say, 100,000, and back in the day with as little as 500 naira, you could go to work and come back. But now, the same thing, you will spend like 2,000 naira, and your income is still 100,000. That's if you don't even stand the risk of losing the job. So people are angry on social media.
Minimum wage is 70,000.
Okay, I'm even saying 100,000. So everyone is angry, and it's very much understandable. Really, it's justified.
But as a women's advocate, someone who talks about financial literacy, how would you advise women, especially, to cope with these challenging times?
Okay, so it's not even only for women, right? Every human right. I think we should be looking at two things. How do I grow my income? And the one I have, how do I manage it in a way to like cut down unnecessary expenses? But when it comes to trying to save aggressively, there is a limit to what you can save, right? If your income, like you said, is like 70,000, you can't save the whole of 70,000. It's not sustainable. But the main thing is now you ask yourself, how can I earn more? I think that's where you have the power, right? So could I get a better paying job? Is there a new skill I could pick to like, earn better? Is there a skill I could monetize, something I could do? Can I expand my business? Can I start an online business? So these are different ways you should start thinking now. How do I make more? And thankfully, we have platforms that Nigerian youth are using to like export their talent. If you go to Fiverr, you can write, even singing, can you edit? Now we should start exploring all of those things because we are not the government. Hopefully they do right by us. But even at that, how do we cope? Please seek to earn more money, and as much as you can, begin to differentiate between your want and your need. It's not everything that maybe before now...
Scale of preference.
You understand. Before now, you could afford to like spend on everything. But remember, your income is still at the same level, but the expenses have now grown. So we should start asking, which expenses should I shift by the side? Which one are essential and which one should I forgo? So basically save better but most importantly, seek to earn more.
You're taking us back to secondary school, opportunity cost.
Exactly. So now we have to start listening to our economics teacher. They did know what we were talking about.
Indeed, this is the time for practicals.
Exactly.
Now, we've talked about all of these issues. There is a role that the government should play in easing the hardship. Do you think that the government is doing the right thing? Because, when this administration came into office, the first statement was subsidy is gone. And Nigerians are now facing the, ripple effect of that. Do you think that the government is, moving towards the right direction?
So the interesting thing with Nigeria is that we have very amazing, beautiful policies, right? We have fancy policies, but most times it's in the implementation, right? So can the government begin to look at what are the practical ways? Because you have policies, but if the fundamentals are not right, now we are talking about infrastructure, which is usually the number one. But are we even looking at these things, right? The electricity is a problem. Now, how much are you in band A or band B? Which one are you?
I think F.
Okay, but we'll still be paying through your nose. If the government could come in here, what can we do regards to this? Because we cannot afford fuel. We cannot also afford electricity, right? So if I wish the government can begin to look at the practicality, right? How do we make the environment better, you know, an enabling environment for the business owners? Because it's tough. You are paying for taxes from, you are paying for this tax, you are paying for that tax. I even pity people like, let's say, drivers or something. From one junction to the next, you are paying something. And the cost falls back on us. Who are these people on the road? Who placed them there? How can the government come into to regulate these things, right? So, yes, Nigerian government, we hear some policies, we get excited that, oh, this could help us, but obviously it's not working, right? So I hope we begin to, like, think in practicality, what exactly can we do to help the everyday man there?
So what are your suggestions?
Enabling environment, that's actually the number one thing I would suggest, right? So business owners, how do we help them? Are there credits that, you know, more affordable credit? This electricity is a big problem. If the government can tackle that, we are fine. Insecurity, I think that's even the major problem we have. Because inflation, which is like, as what percentage, and I think over 30%, right? Is 32, heavily driven by food inflation. Because people must eat. But the cost of everything is crazy, right? So if we could start from food, agri, what are the problems agri is facing? Insecurity, bad road network, and all of that. How does the government come into to fix these basic things? And again, I think, can we make Made in Nigeria cool? It should start from Nigeria, from the government. Can we begin to patronize local brands? If we see the government like going to maybe electronics or Made in Nigeria products, we, the citizens, who embrace it as well. Some companies, Germany and Co, they have perfected this thing, the way they see their products. But here in Nigeria, if you say you are wearing Made in Nigeria, they will look at you as... You
don't think that's changed? Because over time, it appears that Nigerians are now embracing our local, you know, products more than it used to be.
I think we could do better in that regard, right? I think we could do better. Because if you tell somebody, when somebody said she's wearing Made in Aba, is it an insult or this thing? How do they just see it as, okay, this person is not up to the standard. Please carry this or Made in Aba shoe and be going, right? But if we see the government making these things, like patronizing these things, it becomes cool to us.
In other words, lead by example.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, let's talk about your piece that you wrote on the 1st of October during Nigeria's 64th independence, where you wrote a compelling opinion on how women need economic power. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, there is this debate between, is it economic power, women empowerment, the difference and everything. I think this has been an ongoing discussion, right? Where everybody is talking about women has to be empowered, social empowerment, political empowerment, but we should begin to prioritize economic empowerment for women. Because it's very obvious, an economically empowered woman is a powerful woman, right? And it's not even only for women, for the economy as well. Now, statistics has it that women has the tendency to invest back up to 90% of their income back to the family society. Ask a first daughter to confirm that data for you. But for the men, on the other hand, it's like between 30 to 40%, right? So if you are investing more in women, giving them the right opportunities, not just by mouth. Did you follow that trend on social media? They say one organization, for a woman to get visa approval or something, you need a letter from your husband in 2024. So what if your partner is a weapon fashioned against you? Now, as a woman, you are limited in that aspect, right? So these are things we should begin to look at. Yes, economic empowerment is very powerful because the economy is bad. The economy is bad. Most women, a lot of women are still dependent on men. Now, even these men are struggling. What happens to the women depending on them?
You know, culture plays a key role when it comes to the place of women in the society. And sadly, Nigeria is still very much tilted towards patriarchy. And, well, there's still a lot that needs to be done, especially when it comes to women empowerment. But in your own space, I'd like to know some of the things you're doing to push that.
Oh, okay. So I'm the founder of FinTribe. It's a women-only finance community, right? In FinTribe, basically, we champion financial inclusion, financial illiteracy. We save and invest together. This time Nigeria is hard. This year alone, FinTribe women have saved more than over 1 billion naira. And these are women that they say women are not good with money. So there's something we do every year. We call it a finance fair. So the goal of this event is to push economic financial inclusion for women. I'm not just talking, but this one is like talk and do, right? On the spot, you are hearing about how you can manage your finances better. And then you have organizations right there to sign you up. So what do you need to get investing? What do you need to start saving? These organizations are right there. And this year's one is really quite interesting because now we have organizations like NGS. We are talking with SEC. They want to be present at the event.
Interesting.
We had more than 5,000 women last year. And this year, more than 7,000 women have registered. Like, it's going to be really quite interesting. And I'm really happy that these organizations are coming on board because here now, beyond just talking, it's time to walk the talk. And yeah, that is something I encourage every woman. On October 19th, I can invite you, right? On October 19th, you should be at Landmark Event Center for the FinTribe Finance Fair. It's amazing. We have so many feedback.
And make sure you see our finance department after this.
but
on a final note, where do you think we are? Do you see brighter future, especially when it comes to women empowerment in Nigeria?
Definitely. You know, a major part of what I do is focused on women. I remember back then, if you're talking to a woman about finance, you start seeing excuses like, it's not even an excuse. Like you mentioned culture, culturally, socially, we are meant to believe that I don't have to worry about my finance because there is a husband there to take care of that. But gradually, the women of this generation, they know the hear word, right? It's beginning to shift. We are being more open to have discussions on finance, on money. Yes, the data is looking better. The financial inclusion rate is like close to 50% now. It wasn't that much before, but there is still a lot to be done. But I'm really hopeful, like, the ministry is moving further. I'm really hopeful for women empowerment.
All right, that's a very optimistic one. And on that optimistic note, we must appreciate you, Jennifer Awirigwe, founder of the FinTribe. Thank you for coming on board.
Thank you so much.